What's up? Good morning. How's everybody doing today?
It's Wednesday.
It's
Wednesday.
Is that 3-day or is that
It's
a W?
the third. I don't know. We're on day 20 of quarantine.
Yeah?
Is that right? Or social distancing isolation?
We're somewhere around in there, yeah. Tomorrow will be Thursday, which is kind of when it started for us almost 3 weeks ago.
I start etching it in the wall.
Do you feel like you're in prison?
No. I actually really like it. I just literally can't understand what day it is. Even though I have clients and work and that sort of thing. And I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, I can't always tell.
Well, we have other methods of keeping
I have to check though. I have to be like, oh, okay, it's April 1st.
I love that it's either etching it in the wall or it's nothing.
What do you mean?
You said I'm going to start etching it in the wall. And I'm like, we can just look at the calendar and do the calculation from there. Yeah.
This is the state that we're in. I don't know what day it is, even though it's not like the internet went completely down. Even though yesterday when I was working, there were 2 different times I was on sessions that the internet just grinded to a halt and everybody had to turn everything off and dial everything back up again. That happened to you too, didn't it? A whole HIPAA compliant online counseling platform completely crashed. The whole system crashed.
The service that I use in the practice that I'm currently at, it just stopped working. And we thought that we could give it an hour and it would reboot, and it didn't work. And so I had to cancel a couple of things.
That blows.
But hopefully this is allowing everybody to put redundancies in place to figure out what to do in the interim when something like this does go down. Because I just feel like that the system was just overwhelmed, and that's what happened.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah.
Another thing that has happened, I want you to look at how we're dressed. What season is it? If you're not watching, well, I already said what day it is, but if you were watching this back, what season is it? Is it summer in the tropics, or is it winter at a ski chalet?
Winter 1986. I just realized.
Summer just woke up in the morning. What are we even doing here? Exactly. So it feels to me like it is 87 degrees. I had to go put extra deodorant on right before we started this.
Oh, I love your
because
honesty
I
right
am
now.
so hot right now. And I'm not menopausal or premenopausal that I know of. But I am like, I don't know. I could be in a bikini right now and probably still be too hot.
Yeah. I could have one more layer of clothes, which is weird because it's usually her always hot or her always cold and me trying to shed more clothes. So I don't know what's going on this morning with the reversal, but that is the case.
Yeah. It's just so much. Yeah, did you just wake up? Good. Sleeping as much as you can, not a bad thing.
Absolutely not.
Good morning. I sleep to the last possible minute. I actually am so glad that my commute is now 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's from here to right there.
Our little home office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which has been kind of nice.
I really love it. Here, I'm going to give you a sneak peek.
Oh.
There's our office. Boom. That's
Ta-da!
it. And you see how the desk is shifted so that it's like we're facing the door. So that if our children had an emergency and crashed in to the room, no one can see our clients' faces or hear their voices because we use earbuds. So safety first. Little hint for you.
You did a good job.
You also don't need to have a whole office space, right? We do not have like any kind of giant house. We have a little bungalow. And so there's no extra bedroom, there's no spare room, there's no office for us to do so. I use that space most of the time. Which
is a bummer because a week before all of the world changed, I went and put a deposit down on an office next door to her office and haven't been there once and have paid for a whole month. Did not use it one day.
And we're not going to use it in April because our Safer at Home goes all the way through April 30th. So his other office has been our minivan. Which works like a charm.
Yep.
By the way, you can do that. If you need to meet with your therapist and you can't get a lick of privacy anywhere else, hop in your car for a sec if it's in the garage or somewhere close to you.
Yeah, so what she's saying, we don't have a lot of additional space. We have just what we need.
We do.
We have a wonderful, charming little house.
We don't need any more.
We use all the spaces in it, but not a lot of overage. So if Teri is seeing clients in here in the office, and I have a session too, I don't have an office, and so I go and hop in the van and close all the doors, roll up all the windows, put my earbuds in so there's still no sound for anybody walking by. And yesterday I sat in our driveway and did a session, and then the day before that I just drove to the top of the neighborhood where I had better internet or better Wi-Fi. And
Yeah, like
there,
a
so.
mobile office.
Morning.
Caroline!
What's up, what's up, what's up?
Nice. Hi, baby. Robin's asking us a question. I think this is actually a really good question.
Bring it.
Hey, sister.
Oh, everybody.
Aw, yay, and Danielle. How's everything going in Germany? We have international friends. So the question is, why do I feel guilty sometimes for sleeping in? And I think that's actually a really great question. So guilt as an emotion is totally neutral. It's not positive or negative, but it usually feels in our body kind of yucky. Because the whole point, the whole purpose of guilt, hey Jamie, hey sister, Jamie Bass is on Facebook saying hi to you. Yay, it's a reunion. So anyway, guilt is an emotion that is just, again, we're going to use our dash light analogy in a car. Different emotions are just different signals that pop up on your dashboard. Gas light pops up. The need is fill your tank with gas. Jamie actually says hi. And then I feel like I should pass you notes. Like, circle yes or no. We best friends. And so a gas light means you need gas. An oil signal means you need oil. A check engine light means there's something happening that is beyond my pay grade and I need to take it somewhere, which is like when you need to go to therapy. It's kind of how I feel. Guilt in particular, the light that comes on, the need inside of guilt is usually I have done something that doesn't line up either with my values, or I have done something that even if I didn't intend it, has impacted someone else in a negative way. So if we do something that goes against our internal values, which can either be ours or someone else's that are projected onto and imposed on top of us, then that's when we're going to feel guilt, when we act in a way that is in opposition to those things. So if you grew up in a family that hard work and hopping up in the morning was something that your parents or caregivers or the school system, if you're at boarding school, something like that, valued, then sleeping in might give you the message of being lazy or not working hard or being bad in some sort of way. And so it can trigger guilt feelings. Even if you in your mind know that rest is okay, your mind is not the same thing as your nervous system. They are connected to each other, but the nervous system might be sending you a message that what you're doing is not okay. So you can actually wake up in guilt if you've overslept. Anybody ever had that feeling before? Sleep through an alarm, hit a snooze, and then you're like, well, guess I'm not gonna be going to that doctor's appointment today. You know, I missed that, whatever that thing is. The guilt feeling means, ooh, don't like that. And what it's supposed to do when you kind of have that cringe feeling, it's supposed to motivate you to move towards the other person and make a repair. Now, what happens sometimes is that it can become toxic. And instead of thinking the thing that I did is bad, you start looking inward and kind of pulling that onto yourself and blaming yourself and thinking I am bad, which is when it shifts into shame. So the same trigger can be guilt or shame. It's I did something bad versus I am fundamentally bad. So if you are doing some things right now around your house, you know, during all of this time of this pandemic, you might end up having some messages that get triggered, some old messages that could either be yours, your value system, that are different. Like I had someone reach out to me earlier saying, I've actually been drinking too much again, and I don't really like that. It doesn't really feel good to me, and I'm not even really sure why that's what I'm turning to, but what I'm feeling is guilt. Like I know that that's not what I want to do. I want to actually do other coping things. And so that guilt is actually sending her a signal just to pay attention. What is it that she really needs in that moment that might feel better than numbing, than taking the edge off, right? And so when we were talking about it, what she said is, this is just a friend of mine, sweet friend. She said, you know, what actually feels better to me is getting in the sauna, but I can't do that anymore. So I think I'm going to take a bath with Epsom salts. Perfect. Especially then on the other side, check in with your nervous system and see what that feels like. So if you are feeling guilt for like sleeping in or something that's happening for you at home, sit with it for a minute. When you sit with your guilt, it will tell you a story, right? You're going to get a message, right? Instead of kind of like avoiding it or like agreeing with it, like, yeah, that does suck, I suck, and then kind of getting stuck in that pattern. If you sit with the emotion for a second without judging it, without trying to change it or shift it, it will just give you more information. Liv Murphy, our daughter, when she was like 9 or 10, said to me, oh, okay, so emotions are just burritos and the need is the feeling inside. And I was like, that's exactly what emotions are.
Grief. I need to write that down and copyright it as my own, since it was my own child that said it.
Yes, she's a genius. Yeah, Robin's saying, I've gone into full depression because of guilt. It can take you there. It can tip you right in,
Yes.
which is such a good transition. Robin, thank you for what we're going to talk about today. Did you see how I did that?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it on the We're Better When We Come Together
Morning show.
with Dr. Teri Murphy.
And this fella, Chris Murphy.
I forgot to do that at the beginning, so I did it several minutes
This
in.
is when to do it. And also,
Yeah.
I would love for us to do our check-in thing that you talk about too.
Absolutely.
And thank you for that question, Robin. It helps us all when you ask questions.
Yes.
Questions are
Bring them
exciting.
on.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And can I also just echo that I have a lot of issues with guilt and shame, and specifically toxic shame. That I am, we had a conversation just before we went on, and when she was just sharing from her heart, I automatically thought, well, this is all my fault. And the reason that she's feeling this right now is because I am not supporting her, taking care of her, being there for her in the way that it needs to be. And she looked at me and she was like, this isn't about you, I'm just talking. And so like,
I love you.
sure, well, like,
It's not about you.
I'm just saying, seconds before we went live, I was feeling it too. And all of this being closer, I love this woman right here. But all of this being closer and not having our routine that we usually do just heightens all of this feeling, because we are able to focus more on what's going on here because we're not doing a lot out there. So for what it's worth, I hear you, sister. And I feel it too. I feel
You
like
do not
that
have to apologize for who you are, ever, 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 ever. Who you are is beautiful and amazing and wonderful. Can we all
Yeah.
improve and be better versions of ourselves? Absolutely. But the way that we do that is through loving ourselves more, not kicking the shit out of ourselves.
Yeah, one of the things that I've had to tell myself often is you may have done something that was fill in the blank,
Yeah.
dumb, irresponsible, selfish, but that doesn't mean that I am dumb or irresponsible or selfish. I just did it.
You're a human person.
I just did a thing that doesn't align with my value system.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't mean that I am a dummy. That just means I did something not as smart as I should have. So if I take it out of talking about myself, like, you're a dummy, you'll never get it right. If I take it out of that and go, you did this thing and you did it not perfectly, not the way that you may have wanted to, but I can change my actions. But if I start telling myself in my head that I am somehow flawed because of all those things, then that's when I'm like, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to give up.
Well,
I'm just go back to
guess I'll
bed.
die.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a very real sort of part about what you just shared too, which is when we name our emotions, it helps us to make sense of them and regulate them. But in order to do that, you have to sit with them and be willing to just be curious about what's happening. And if you never got that as a kid, if you didn't get a lot of that, people helping you to make sense of how you're feeling inside, that might feel like unknown territory. So you get to have permission to take some space and some time, and this is actually a really perfect time to do this when we can't go anywhere or do anything, to learn a little bit more about yourself, because it's really beautiful. The fear tends to be, if I really sit with myself and I get really still and I go inside, one of two things will happen. Either I will not like what I find there, or sometimes what feels a little worse is I don't think anything is there.
Mm.
And neither of those is true.
Neither of those is true.
Those are fears. So let's check in on our scale.
Yeah,
Does that
let's
sound
do it.
good?
All right, our scale, let's all check in. I want to see a lot of responses here, because I get filled up when we're just doing this as a community. So we will talk about it, and you as well. But like, on a scale from 1 to 10, how you doing today? On a scale of 1 being
Disaster.
I'm in a disaster mode right now. I'm just barely hanging on.
Making it.
Number 10 is I feel awesome today. I couldn't feel better. I'm so excited about the way that.
Got some 6s.
Yeah. So right now I'm probably at a 6, I would say as well. Yeah.
Babes.
Yeah.
I woke up at like a 3 in anxiety. So what's happened to me is I've realized at night, I used to do this when I was younger and doing some of my trauma processing, where I would clench my teeth so tight when I was sleeping that I actually am like tight in my jaw muscles. And it's like all night long trying to work out anxiety, fear. Like I have the wildest dreams. Like if you saw my dreams, you'd be watching that instead of Tiger King. That's all I have to say about that. But then as I was sitting with my feelings this morning, I've been up since like 4 or something, and eventually was able to snuggle back in a little bit and rest some once Chris woke up. But since I sat with my feelings this morning and just let myself be a raging, sad, scared human, then what I found on the other side was myself. So I then went up again, and I would say I'm at like a 7 or 8. I feel actually very hopeful and really good right now, which again, like I would put the surfer emoji every day because apparently I am an emotional, professional emotional surfer. So.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that we do is if you're just riding that wave, if you've gone from a 3 to a 6 to a 9 back down to a 4, all in the same hour period, just put a surf emoji on there.
Amanda's gone up. Amanda is also in healthcare, so let's all say thank you to Amanda.
Amanda, thank you. Yes.
And any of our workers who are still out there on the front lines. So if you're in grocery stores, if you're in shipping, if you're having to deal with literally any human being in the planet, bless you. I pray that you have peace and reserves of energy and safety all around you, that you feel the love and connection of all of us. Like, let's everybody Care Bear stare from our hearts out into the world to the people in this community who are holding other people up. Jamie is a pharmacist. Holy F word, Jamie, having to be there with sick folks and hand out prescriptions and honestly probably be a therapist behind the counter half the time too.
Amanda, Jamie, you're getting a lot of love over on Instagram as well. So
huge.
Even if you maybe
Let's
can't
Care Bear stare from
it.
Instagram over to Facebook too. Hope that you feel that love and can take that in.
Dad will get his test back today.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Sister's sending rainbow heart emojis. I love that. Exactly.
Thinking about your dad today.
We'll say a prayer for Robin's dad too, who's getting his COVID test back.
Yeah.
We have 2 friends who've been diagnosed, and friends' dads also diagnosed recently with COVID too. Are praying for them.
And I think that that's kind of where I am this morning. Is that I just wake up and it's on my mind, and so I immediately go to look at all of the news and see if anybody that's been well known or any of our friends or family have been diagnosed. And so it's like from the time that I wake up, the time that I go to bed, it's just on my heart. And so
let yourself drop into it, into the reality of what that is.
Yeah.
So Leslie's niece Molly's a pharmacist also, and her son's a paramedic. Bless you.
Yes.
Chris's brother is also a medic and a firefighter, and so he's still heading out every day into things. We're both therapists, so we're jacked AF about feeling all the feelings. And, check in on your therapist friends. We're not fine. We're up and down too. And if you are a human being, you're going to be impacted by what's going on to some level. And we love you and we care about you. And here's the thing, you do not have to fancy up to be here. You bring yourself exactly as you are. If you are a -4 and all you want to do is cuss, well, welcome to the party. One of our kids is that way. She said out loud with words, she can't wait to turn 18, so all she will say is the F word. She's so excited. And I was like, I don't think that's how that works, but let's go with that, right? Because I don't want to meet with the principal again.
Hey, and you know what? I just was going to say this as well, that let's all take a little bit of time, whether it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes, and reach out to some of those people who are having to work. If that's you, thank you so much. But reach out to somebody on Facebook or send them a message via email or whatever it is, just to say thank you today. Let's try to reach out to one person. I just think that that's a good, worthy practice, just like we're doing on here, like to see all the hearts and the thank yous and all of the dedication that people are doing and the people thanking them for it.
You guys are amazing.
Yes, this is wonderful.
You are showing up right now. This is doing the work.
Yeah.
This is it.
Reach out to someone that you know that may be struggling with it personally, or that is going into work today and putting themselves in harm's way. If it's a first responder, or if it's a person bagging groceries, or it's a person that's
picking up our garbage, cleaning, grocery shopping, Amazon. Like, I saw our Amazon delivery guy and he looked really not okay. I tried to wave at him, but I think I scared him. Like, it's just, I don't know. We're all in this together. We're all changing and we're all going through grief together. And it's really weird. This is the Wild West. I keep saying that, and we're all pioneers. But the deal is we're all here together. We're doing it together, and we're not going to be alone in this place too.
So do what you can do.
Oh, can I say something about what you just said?
Get to it, girl.
So,
rock and roll.
Here's what's really cool. When you share gratitude specifically with another person, you actually both get a boost of serotonin in your brain, and it actually helps both of you to rewire your brain towards the positive. It takes about 21 to 30 days, depending on research, to completely shift that, so it's a more permanent change. But right in the moment, think about how you felt when you just said thank you, even to the members of this community who are reaching out.
Yeah.
Right? How did that feel? It felt good, because we're wired, as much as we're in survival, and that's true, we are wired for connection. And so when we risk and we reach out in that way, which a lot of times we feel we need to do physically, or like handwriting a note, which there's nothing wrong with that, but even just saying it with words, posting something on social media, supporting people, that helps both of you.
Yeah.
It helps everybody involved. Both people are wired then to see more positives in the world. The world becomes a less scary place, not because you fixed it, but what we know from attachment science is, in love, in any of our relationships, you don't have to fix anything. You just have to be there. And that is a bond. That is how we develop secure bonds with people, but we get stuck wondering what to do, when really it's how to be. How do I be with you? I had a couple yesterday
How do I be?
talking about this. The one partner who's more of the withdrawer protector was saying to his partner, how can I help you? And instead of her hearing it as an invitation, like, hey, I want to be with you, she heard it as, give me a list of stuff to do to like take some tasks off your plate. And so she felt it as pressure, like, I don't know what in the world's going on in the world. You want me to now make a list for you? Now I got to take care of you. Right? So even in the reach, that can be positive. Sometimes when we're in our stuff, we hear it more as like a threat. And that's okay. But you can just name that. They were able to get to a point where she was like, oh, you just want to be with me? Your words, though, were sending a really different message, which then he was hearing as he failed. Right? See, I can't, even when I'm trying to connect with you, I'm blowing it. Right? Like, could you see us cycling in a similar way?
Oh, yeah.
Totally. So then when he was
It's our
able to
pattern.
say, actually, I don't want to do anything because I don't know what to do either. I just want to be with you. And I'm just trying to connect with you, but I want to do it in a way that honors you. He was trying to be really specific to help her in the way she wanted it, which is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And then she was able to take that in.
Yeah.
What a gift. What a gift. So anyway, we're going to all be there for each other. I interrupted you, so I want to circle back to what you were talking about.
I just wanted to mention to everybody as well, I'm in this weird gray area where this time next week I will be completely done with all of the work that I'm doing for my master's degree.
Are we going to party here? Are we going to celebrate?
I'm so stoked, so excited.
My favorite kind of party.
Except what's tough for me is like I want to help people at a deeper level right now, but like legally I can't, because I'm finishing up my my work, which means that doing supervision for the last year and a half almost, I've been under the license of my supervisor. And when I finish up next week, I am no longer under that license anymore. And I have to wait until I get a temporary license, which could be like 6 weeks. So I want to help in a way that I can, in a legal way. So I'm going to mention what I try to mention on here every morning is, do you have something that you just need to get off your chest that you feel like that maybe it's not safe to say to other people.
Little party hats.
Oh yay, woohoo! If you feel like that you need to say something like, you know what, I'm actually really enjoying this whole situation, but you don't feel like it's safe because people will judge you that way, or I'm freaking scared to death. And that is also something that's not safe to say. What I've just been offering on here is like, send me a private message and we'll just chat about it. It's not therapy. It's just going to be me being there with you. But I want to offer that because I can't do therapy after next week. I can't do it until I get my temporary license, which could be like 6 weeks away. So
or more, because the whole thing is shut down.
Yeah. So reach out to me in a private message, either on Insta or Facebook. And we can have a conversation from there. Again, not therapy. I need to say it very clearly. We can just have a conversation with that, and I'll just sit with you in the feels that you have.
We need to come up with a theme song for you, like, this is not therapy, I'm just a human man. Talking about feelings, feelings.
This is my therapy, I'm just a human man talking about feelings.
Cause I got ears, I'll listen to you. Please do not sue me because I am not licensed. We are just talking.
Do not construe this as real therapy. I will not charge you if you do not tell on me. You like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But you have to sing your answers back to everyone too.
Ooh, that's gonna be
the singing, not a therapist yet.
The almost therapist singer. I'm so close. I just want to help, but trying to also abide by all of the rules and do it appropriately.
You're being so ethical. I'm very proud of you.
I'm surfing that fine line.
Yeah.
Of ethics here.
I don't know what it says about me that's very attractive that you're this close to breaking the law.
It's probably that same thing in Liv that just wants to cuss the day that she turns 18.
I don't know. Oh, well, I have to talk to my therapist about that. All right.
Well.
Ooh, an 80s party morning show? I am all in on that.
Yo.
Have you, look, I just slept on this hair, but I'm telling you, if it was curly and I did not touch it and I just made it like this, have some disco there. That would be a lot of fun. We should totally do that. We should roller skate into the show.
I already have my 80s vibe going on with my Avett Brothers trucker hat. Yeah.
And Did you see Ryan was saying he really liked your hair?
Yeah. Hair? I thought somebody said they wanted my hat.
Thank you, Karen. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Maybe I projected that. I like your hair. His hair is like fabulous and longer than mine at this point. Look, turn to the side. Look how long his hair is. See?
Wait, let me turn quickly so it has that flare. Flare with the hair.
We were watching Tiger King last night. Yes, we have succumbed. We were watching the Tiger King. Mm-hmm. And he had his hat on, and they were like, hey, take your hat off. And
he was like, no. You guys they're going to make fun of me that I have a mullet.
And I said, don't you still have a mullet even when your hat is on? Or is that only a hat off kind of a thing? Like, maybe I don't know enough about mullets. I don't know. So, yeah, 80s party. What if we do you want an 80s party for your graduation, or should we do that for a different reason?
I kind of feel like weekly we should have some sort of party going on.
Ooh, guess what I saw on Instagram? Can we do like a positivity segment? I just saw that Upworthy on Instagram just hit 1 billion followers, so people are going there for the positivity. Million? Million followers. 1 million. And Austin Channing, who is an author and an anti-racist advocate and that sort of thing, she's a brilliant writer. She's done some work with Brene Brown too. And she said, instead of April Fool's Day where everybody's pranking each other, and nobody got the window of tolerance for pranks right now, but what we do have tolerance for, she said, call it April Friends Day. And just reach out to a friend that you care about. So we could combine what we were talking about.
Love that, yeah.
Do it in honor. You can go look up Austin Channing's page on Instagram or on Facebook, and you can see her post. I shared it in my Instagram stories too. If you click through those, you can go find her original post. But I will shout out my sister, Ashley, who is amazing, at Fit Ashley Mac on Instagram if you want to follow her. She's super fun. She's a personal trainer, and she helps people for a living too. She runs a sober living program in Alabama and is a brilliant, amazing unicorn genius. So I love you. Happy April Friends Day to my sister Ashley. Who do you want to shout out?
I want to shout out to my niece Caroline, who's on the show as well. I mean, she said earlier that she's like at a solid 9.67 because she hasn't even slept. So I just want to shout out that, like, hey, you and my son both in the same camp. Super happy this morning, and also not slept.
James hasn't slept either.
That youth energy.
Yeah.
I'm digging.
Did I tell you guys about our son? You know, the extreme introvert. He's told me he's a 10 out of 10 introvert. And he said that even just the fact that he has his own room is not enough, that he can still be too close to all of us. So what he's now done is he's gone up in the attic in our garage. Like, not even over our house. He's out in the garage. And then he pulls the ladder up inside the attic so we can't get to him. So not only does he stay up all night and sleep all day, but in the few precious hours we overlap, he is unreachable.
Well, can I say that I put the kibosh on that? I don't even know if that's an appropriate word to say. I stopped that action because in order to get up in the attic, you have to climb up about 15 feet. And then you have this big 15-foot hole.
Happy Friends Day.
Yes, absolutely.
Friends Day Wednesday. I like it.
Friends Day Wednesday? Yes! Yes!
Wednesday Friends Day. I just made that up.
Yes.
You made me feel so smart.
Wednesday
High
Friends
five.
Day.
Yes! Did you know if you look at people's elbows when you high five that you won't miss?
Hold on, let me try it. Whoa, that was
Every
scary.
time.
I thought she was going to slap me in the
Every
face.
time.
Well,
Wednesday
so anyway,
Friends Day.
yeah, I like this.
Our Friends
I like
Day
this
Wednesday.
idea. I also like that we need to put themes together for this show, and that we will show up.
It has been 2 years. Maybe we should make some themes.
Well, one of the things that I heard is that one of some people that have watched before that they loved when we had our Happy Halloween boombox.
Happy Halloween.
And they can't wait for Halloween to come back so they can see the boombox return. And I completely agree. But we need more of those things. So maybe we do theme day, but with the caveat that if we do a theme day, people need to take pictures of themselves, like dressing in the theme, and then send that in as well.
I like it.
Can we all do that? So, like if we do theme days, that we like, even if you're not live and seen on here, that you can show your pictures.
What should the hashtag be? Should it be Friends Day Wednesday or Wednesday Friends Day?
Wednesday Friends Day.
Wednesday Friends Day.
I just like the way it flows.
Wednesday's hard to spell. Wednesday.
Wednesday, Fredness
my
Day.
dad taught me to spell it. Wednesday, Friends Day.
I'm loving this. This is great. I'm loving all the chats. I'm loving all the conversation.
We haven't even talked about our subject yet, but it doesn't even matter.
We better hurry up because we're going to get kicked off.
I know.
Instagram.
In about 30 minutes.
Yeah, Instagram says no.
I don't think it'll even take 30 minutes to talk about this.
No.
Should we talk about the stages of grief? Let's talk about that. So, the 5 stages of grief that we've been talking about are denial, which we talked about on Monday. And then yesterday I talked about anger. Today is bargaining. Tomorrow we will talk about depression, sadness, and then we will talk about acceptance. And there's a 6th hidden stage that we'll talk about as well on Friday called meaning. So once your grief process is over, you can look back on it and make meaning. Well, nobody here is going to be making any meaning because we don't know the end of the story yet. Well, which is also what makes grief more complicated.
Yeah. I kind of look at that secret 6th stage as just a part of acceptance.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I didn't make the research. This is David Kessler's research, who worked alongside Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And if you want to hear more about it, Brene Brown just released her latest episode of Unlocking Us podcast, and she has David Kessler on her show talking about grief. So what happened to me, I'm just going to be honest with you because this is what we do on this show, is when I first saw it, I was like, oh, yay, they're talking about grief like we're talking about grief. And then instantly felt shame, like, oh, they're going to do a really good job. Like you get me, and she gets the literal author of the stages of grief on the show. So I felt a little bit ashamed. And then I thought, you know what? It doesn't matter. It turns out, and this is not probably brand new information to anybody but me, but I'm not Brene Brown. Did you know that?
What?
I know.
I've been calling you that for years.
No, it's just very weird. I'm just me, and it's enough. And so practicing self-compassion, I was like, this work really matters, and our take is really a valid take too. So we're going to talk about that. But if you want to know more information from the author, highly also recommend Unlocking Us by Brene Brown. She has David Kessler on talking about making meaning in the midst of this not knowing, this pandemic in the middle of COVID-19. Okay, so bargaining. What's bargaining? Another name for bargaining is negotiating. So what tends to happen when you move from denial, which is this feeling of like lost in the ocean, you get uprooted, there's this shock, it's hard to even take it in. And then anger is really about like, oh, you find someone that like really pisses you off or something that makes you so mad, because what that does is it kind of gives you a focus. You start to get a bit grounded. You come back into your body a bit and you're starting to feel things. And anger is an energetic and energizing sort of emotion that can actually get you through. It helps you to get things done. So if you want to hear more about either of those two, I actually have uploaded all of our recent episodes to YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and just search Come Together Show, or you can search my name, Teri Murphy, and then find our channel. And then there's a whole playlist of, I think I have 6 of them uploaded so far. It takes so long.
Yeah.
And we are just one person. So, you know what I mean. Hey, I have a question. How would you feel about getting me a new cup of warm coffee?
Wow. Right in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is that okay with everyone? I just really need a bit of a refill.
Usually we would get our assistants to do this. But since everybody is home now, we've had to send our assistants home.
We should train
and the cameramen and all of those things. So
I know. It's just like all the other Tonight shows and night programs where they're doing it from their bedroom. Would you mind?
You monologue. I'll go make coffee for everybody. Anybody else would like a coffee? I'll go get you one. Anybody? Scone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, ham and eggs. Anybody?
I mean, we're going to have to pretend to have all of those things, but we could do it together.
I'll go get them. If you just let me know.
If there's scones in there and I don't know about it, it means that somebody magicked some scones over here because I did not bake any.
See you in a bit, everyone.
Okay, really fast. Okay, so bargaining. Bargaining then shifts from this anger that you've had, that you've been able to feel. And when you start to be able to bargain, what it means is you really are accepting the outcome in a lot of ways. You're able to say, oh, okay, so I think this actually is as big of a deal as it really is. This really is happening. This is like, oh, we really are going to be sheltering in place. Like now there's an order. There's a part that you can't deny anymore, that you know that it's actually real. So hey, people want scones with butter. Got you. So it's real. And if you think about it, the way that the stages of grief were really developed were more around death or dying. So someone died and you cared about them. Bargaining really looks like an if-then sort of statement, right? And it was developed around that. Or you got diagnosed with a chronic illness or something terminal. You're going to go through this grief process. So what ends up happening in bargaining is we're like, okay, it is real, but what if I had done this part differently, would the outcome have been any different? And you can run scenarios back through your mind over and over. So I see this on social media right now. If we had sheltered in place this X amount of time sooner, would our death count be so high? Would the virus be spreading so rapidly? You know, if it can even be the opposite sort of way. So it can look like, well, if I just wash my hands, I can still hang out with all of the people that I want to hang out with because no one's really showing any symptoms yet. Even though you know that's not how the virus works. It's airborne. It even has aerosol properties. It can hang in the air. So you really can't be around other people because we have to treat everyone as if they already have it, just aren't showing symptoms, and that you have it. You're just not showing symptoms. And yet, your mind is going to try and work it out in a way that you can have the life you used to have as close as possible to that. It could even be like, I'm going to homeschool, I'm going to protect people, I'm going to go about my job, and I'm just going to do it as if none of this other stuff is happening. And when I pop back out of my house in a month, it's just going to go right back to the way that it was before. If I just do this, then that's going to work itself perfectly out. According to the research too, it can take on religious sort of tones as well, meaning like if I pray every day, then no one I know will get sick. If I do X, then Y is going to happen. That's how you know that you're in bargaining, is if I do this, then this is going to happen. Now, it's not a bad thing, right? So we tend to, like Chris was talking about on Monday, we tend to judge people who are in different stages than us, right? So we look at someone who's in denial and we're like, what idiots, right? It is real. Stop going to the beach, and traveling as if literally nothing has happened. But really, there are some people who really do know what's going on or just violating everything. And denial is not a good reason to just accept what's going on. But it does help us to have some compassion for people. And if people are in anger, it's like, I saw somebody post something yesterday, like, why are you all angry all of the time? Like, it's really okay. We're going to work this stuff out and everybody's doing the best that they can. True, I hear that, because I really do believe most of the time, most everybody in the world is really doing the best they can at any given moment. And when we're seeing yucky behavior, it's really typically reactive, stress-based, fear. Right? If we just dial everything down, we drill to the bottom of any sort of thing, what you're going to hit at bedrock is going to be fear. So if you're acting in a way that you're like, what? Like, oh, I'm probably scared about something, right? That's probably what's happening. I'm grinding my jaw at night because of fear, right? I have dreams about catastrophes almost every night, and my subconscious is really just trying to work everything out. So for me, what bargaining has looked like is, okay, if we never do anything or go anywhere or talk to anyone, if I don't even see the light of day, if I perform perfectly, which is an old narrative for me, if I perform perfectly, then not just my family will be safe, but maybe the whole world will be safe. It almost has like an OCD type quality to it, which, I've seen some jokes and stuff on Instagram that are actually kind of real, which is like, hey, I think I'm getting over some of my OCD of like, if I wash my hands, then my dad won't die. And then the therapist is like, well, actually. So it can take on some of those qualities too. If I don't do everything just so and follow these rules just right, then bad things could happen. Do you feel that in the bargaining? If I do this, then this. Do you all have any examples or questions about what bargaining could possibly look like for you? I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say. And you probably have experienced it and seen bargaining everywhere, but it's an important stage. It's not a bad thing. Praying and talking to your higher power about what you're hoping for is not a bad thing. It's part of the grieving process, and it gives you a sense of control. This now is a stage where there becomes something you can do, which we love. Just tell me what to do and I will do it, right? Because now I've accepted that this outcome probably is going to be the way it is, but I can't just let myself stew in helplessness, which is the next stage actually, is this sadness and despair, but we're not there yet. What I find myself bouncing around, because you can be in more than one stage at one time and you don't have to go through every stage of grief, not everybody will. But what I find is I bounce between all of the stages. I find myself in denial again. Like I find myself, every time I get new information, which feels like it comes in every day, I only let myself check the news now once a day. It used to be twice, and I found that was too much for my highly sensitive emotional system and heart. So, do you need me to get the door? Oh, you got it. I was just about to complain, which is not very becoming of me. I was just really missing you. Hi, baby. Look. Does he want to come in? No. Cooper's gonna stay outside right now. Our dog. Come on in. We're talking about bargaining. Come on in.
Pardon everybody.
You must have pressure ate the scones out in the hallway.
I did. I ate a whole container of scones.
We're talking about bargaining and the if-then sort of quality. Like, if I just do this, then this will happen. Yeah. And I was saying one of the things that has popped up for me is a bit of perfectionism again. Like, if I do everything I'm told to do, if I follow the rules to the letter of the law, none of us will get sick, we'll all be protected, and maybe the whole world will be better. Maybe I can be clean enough and follow the rules enough for everyone in our whole neighborhood. Maybe if I go and fuss at the basketball players across from there, we can save all of their lives. So it's not a bad thing. It's actually an action stage. It's something you can do. It's the most doing of all of the stages.
Which doesn't that make sense coming off of anger?
Yeah.
That I'm angry about this. I'm going to go do something about it.
I'm going to write a strongly worded letter.
Right. Because we're trying to get our needs met.
Yes.
We're using that anger, we're feeling the anger, and it's telling us you gotta do something because if not me, who? So the bargaining is, what can I do?
Can I let him in, or do you think he'd be too annoying? I want to try. Come here, Koopy. Does he have a bone or a ball? Or anything?
This is the frustrating part about the trying to do this and also balance out when the kids and when we are sleeping and when the dog sleeps and everything is off and we're all here more. Is that sometimes Cooper just needs to hang out with a human. Here.
Oh, ow. He just stepped on my foot. Where are you taking him? Oh, look.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, everyone say hi, Cooper. Look at that.
Cooper,
Hi, Bob.
how are you feeling today? 1 through 10.
Let's look at his face.
Yeah.
Boxers' faces always look like they're at about a 4.
Yeah, I was going to say a 2. Oh, everybody. Hey.
Yes, so someone suggested having the backboards removed from the outdoor ball courts. So I was just reading that there are places in bigger cities where when people refuse to stop playing. Ah! Look what I just did. Just a second. When I got some on the bed too.
Oh, man. It's the frustrating part. I've got a lot of frustration coming up right now because all I want to do is to be on here and to talk. And Cooper says no. Cooper says, push that coffee over. Let me see that coffee. No.
But you know what? Look.
Quick
Now-
change McGee over here.
Now I just feel like a fancy morning show person. Like this is our second segment. I had to do a quick outfit change. And I already had on a sports bra, so you can't see anything you shouldn't be seeing on the show, but I'm about to take that off as soon as we're finished with this because here's the thing. If I'm wearing jeans or a bra at home, working from home like that, then I'm a psychopath. I keep my camera here. I do wear pants anytime that I'm on online theater because you have to wear pants. But and on this show, we both always will be wearing pants because we love you.
Pants rule.
Because just like what just happened, I just spilled coffee all over myself and on the duvet that we just washed because I spilled it last week everywhere.
Maybe this is a message. Maybe the universe is trying to tell you you need to not spill so much.
You know what the universe can do?
Let me hide behind Cooper.
Meg's saying, I'm finding myself dreaming through my stages, especially anger. I thought it was because I'm a 9. Do you dream about your anger?
Usually not literal dreams, but I often daydream. Like what I would like to do because of my anger.
Is it violent?
Not most of the time, but I just, in my 9-ness, I often feel like it's not a safe thing for me to do to put that emotion out in the world. And so I have to daydream about what I would like to have happen.
Imagination is essential though. When you imagine how you would be in certain scenarios, you're still lighting up the same neural pathways as if you're really doing that.
Yeah.
So it's actually a really brilliant way to work with your emotions is to imagine what you would do with them. Brandy's a 9 too, I believe. And so I'm a 3. So perfectionism and doing feel like I'm right at home, but they're not always the best thing for me too.
Yeah.
This is the first time that it's showed up in my actual dreams. So I bet with stress levels getting a bit higher, it's like even when you're not consciously trying to think about them, they crack through. So Freud talked about that, and so did Carl Jung, both pioneers in psychoanalysis and dream studies that would say your dreams, it's not necessarily the specific content of your dreams, but the emotion and the symbolism of what comes with that. So when things start coming through the cracks, it's actually, that's what you pay attention to is the stuff that pops out in the cracks, the slip of the tongue, the slip of a word. You know, me spilling coffee all over myself would have great meaning, you know. I just think it means, I don't know, that I wasn't paying any attention. And maybe I love coffee so much I wanted to be bathed in it. Liz said, I retook my Enneagram test and my numbers were different under stress. I evenly showed up as 279. All positive outlook types, Liz. You find that you're moving towards looking at the positive. Not that it doesn't mean you're grounded in reality, but that you balance that really well by looking to positive things. This fella does that too, right? And so it's been such a gift to have a positive outlook in the house. He's the only one out of all of us who's positive outlook.
I hold it for everybody.
You do. He really does help
And then
me.
get frustrated when it doesn't come to fruition.
Look at this sweet puppy. He also, all children, like, I don't know if Olivia is watching Liz, but all children and all animals love Chris Murphy. They do.
Well,
And spreadsheets and to-do lists love me.
oh, I was going to say,
And people.
I thought you were going to associate me with
Adult
spreadsheets.
people.
And as much as I love to abide by
Do you see, I
to-do
cannot
list.
fix I don't have an inside face. So, yeah. And Liz is saying she does. We need you, Liz. We need people in the world who show us how to be positive and how to be in that imagination sort of stage. We need our 4s to tell us about our grief and our sadness. We need 3s to give us things that we really can do and how we can show up and to be consistent. You know, it's serious. Danielle's saying she's a 9 wing 1. 9s move into 6 during times like this. Yes. So what does it look like for you when you move to 6, like the low side of 6? Because you can take on the positive and the more stressful qualities of any number that you're connected to on the Enneagram.
Well, usually when I am more stressed, I just go to a place where it's harder for me to trust the rest of humanity.
Yes. Paranoid.
Yeah.
Kind of.
That's just kind of my go-to because it feels like that it's not safe, and in my stage of not feeling okay, I look for somebody else to blame, because what I'm trying to do is I'm like a duck that looks calm on the surface, but underneath it's paddling really fast. And so I'm like, I'm doing all I can and it's still not working. It must be y'all's fault kind of thing when I go to a place of stress like that. And so oftentimes when I am not in that place, it's like, we are the world, we are the children. Like, I want us all to be together. But when it starts going the other way, I can get a bit cranky and blame everybody but myself.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be completely honest and vulnerable and say that.
If you want to take your Enneagram test, my favorite is to go to the Enneagram Institute and take their free RETI, RHETI, or you can pay $10 to do the paid test.
Yeah.
The same exact 36 question test is on 9 types. Or if you want the Christian version, you can go to your Enneagram coach. You'll just end up having to put your email in and get a whole crap ton of emails. I don't really love that.
Crap ton.
But you can do that. That's certainly something you can do.
Yeah.
The Enneagram can actually be a really helpful tool because it specifically addresses your own wiring, why, your motivations, why you do what you do, how you feel in times of stress, and then what you do when you're stressed out. So it can just be incredibly regulating to have a mirror back at you for what in the heck is going on.
So she she asked best book and test, and you did a good job of the test, but any books that you would recommend?
Love The Sacred Enneagram by Chris Hewerts. The Millenniagram has a bunch of F words in it, but pretty funny, by Hannah Pash. And The Wisdom of the Enneagram by Riso and Hudson. Hey, Connor. And then Surrendering the Weight, 6 Wing 5. Oh, we need you. Structures, systems, problem solving, making sense of things, tender-hearted. Yes, yes, yes. Every single person is like a puzzle piece, and we all fit together uniquely to create a whole picture. The world needs you for who you are, right? Like if you're a nerd, baby, be a nerd. If you're a writer, write your crap. We love it. We need it. If you're an artist, we want to see your work. If you like math, show us the numbers. If you're a personal trainer, what do we need to do? Personally, I've been eating a lot of sour cream and onion chips, and I'm unapologetic for it.
What?
Yes.
I have never eaten a
Yes.
chip. Never put anything unhealthy in my system.
I'm all for body positivity, so I mean, I love to work out. You guys know we love hiking and everything, but I'm just calling this little extra belly I have like my pandemic softness. You know, it's a little bit of insulation. It's like happy. And my kids told me I'm more cozy to hug when I don't have such sharp angles anyway, so I'm gonna go with that, right? A little incubation. Yeah, if you're good at makeup, do your makeup. He's fallen asleep, y'all. I wish you could see.
You can, because this is a live video.
Look at his little legs too. Let me just show you the little legs sticking out. I mean, look at him. He's so cute. He's such a good baby.
All right, we're gonna get kicked off of Instagram if we hit the hour mark. So
I just
let's
want
make
to
sure
be
that
with y'all.
Yeah.
I feel like we could do this all day. Plus, I'm not seeing clients today. Oh, I get to go to my mastermind. I'm super pumped about it.
Guys, we love you so much. We appreciate this community
Pandemic
so
softness.
much. You have done such an amazing job today of communication and chatting. This is what we dream of every morning when we get on. And I'll be honest, I got on in a very grumpy mood, and I've been riding the grumpy wave today.
Yeah.
But being with you has really helped. And so I hope that it's helpful for you too, to give you a bit of a boost going into the day, to have a little bit of fun, connect with our community. Let's continue to do it. I want to hear...
Did your numbers go up? I'm really curious. Did anybody find that your scale of 1 to 10, where you started from and where you are now, went up any? Because I would say mine did. Just being
good.
with you.
That's awesome.
You all being here and being in this safe space, I feel better. I feel more connected. Don't forget, it's Wednesday Friends Day. Tell someone that you care about how they matter to you. Be specific. You can text them, you can FaceTime them, you can Instagram post, hashtag Wednesday Friends Day. You are so incredibly loved. You matter so much. We will be here tomorrow talking about depression and sadness and the stages of grief. But hey, we got Chris Murphy here, so I'm sure there'll be a positive sort of spin on it as well.
Oh, man.
Cooper will probably be here. Look at his face.
He'll be somewhere in the house,
He's
even
so
if he's not on the
exhausted.
camera. What I was going to say is continue the conversation.
Go get Caitlin's book. Go get Caitlin's book, Native. Pre-order it, and we'll talk about it in May when it gets here. Caitlin Curtis. Go to Amazon and order her book immediately, or from your independent bookseller.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Continue the conversation over on the facebook.com/group/come together show.
Come Together Group.
Come together group.
Facebook.com/groups/come together group.
Oh, yeah.
Come join the fun. We really I don't post multiple times a day. It's more like we're checking in with each other and sharing a lot of pictures of nature and our pets and just talking about what's going on.
Oh, but also what I would love to hear from you all on the group is if you heard us talking earlier about doing a theme day, what kind of theme you would like do an 80s party on here, have a day where we all dress up like, I don't know, firefighters or flowers, I don't know. What would you like the theme to be?
I love it.
Let's make it just an open conversation, and we'll figure something out, and I'll do a theme day coming up soon.
I call Bon Jovi on 80s Day.
Deal.
All right.
I call Phoebe Cates.
You got it.
As in, I'm gonna dress up in
As Phoebe Cates?
in the red bikini. I'll do that.
I like it.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
And I will write a rock ballad. That's perfect.
You give a pandemic a bad name. All right, we love you all.
Wash your hands. Keep everyone safe.
I can't even do it. We love you all. Have a great
Love
morning.
you. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow morning at 7.
See ya. Flowers.